how to make $300 a day with evergreen webinars. Now here's a cool thing, you've probably heard about it, but imagine recording a webinar and it playing over and over again to different people, different audiences at different times of the day, and you make money every single time it happens. Well, if that interests you and that's something you want to do, you're going to want to stick to the very end, because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Hey, JR Fisher here again with some information to help you make money online. That's what this channel is all about. Look, I know you're busy. I mean, being an entrepreneur is a busy job. There's so many things to do, and you know webinars could make you a lot of money, but you also know that you just don't have time to be doing webinars each and every day at different times of the day. Oh my God, this is too much. But what if you could record it one time and it could play in the morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever somebody wanted to watch it, and it made you money every single time? Well, it's totally possible, and I want to show you how to do it. Okay, so what are webinars anyhow? Webinars are actually a seminar done on the web, thus webinars. Okay, so doing one of these can make you a tremendous amount of money. It's kind of packaged like a mini course, maybe a 45-minute to an hour, maybe even 2-hour course that people can access and learn about a particular subject. Now generally, once you've done the webinar itself, you offer some services or some products for sale at the end, and that's where you make money. They can also be called evergreen webinars. They can also be called on-demand webinars. Now with the right software, you can actually schedule your webinars to where there's a certain time that somebody can go. Maybe it's in the mornings, the afternoons, the evenings, maybe it's over a couple day period, but you can actually do all these settings because you want to set up their what? Fear of missing out. Okay, FOMO, right? Nobody wants to miss out. So if you set up these actual times that webinar is going to play, it gives it a little bit more demand. It makes people want it a little bit more because they know it's a limited time that they can actually watch it. Now the question is, why record a live webinar and show it to people as opposed to just doing a video and letting people know it's a video? Well, the answer lies in the fact that when people watch videos, they usually only watch about 10%, but when it has that feel of a live webinar, maybe there's comments, maybe there's questions being answered, maybe they can type in their questions, then they tend to stay a lot longer and it increases your sales. Now the other thing with doing this live webinar recorded type thing is that they can't fast forward through it. They can't skip ahead. If you're just doing a video for somebody, they can skip ahead and look at the very end, find out they don't want to buy your product, but they never got a chance to have it sold to them because they didn't stay through the entire video. Now you want to make sure when you're doing these webinars that you're actually delivering good content along with it. If all you do is sell on the webinar, you're going to lose your audience very quickly. Truth is, when it comes to webinar, there really is nothing better to sell a customer than a live field webinar. They just plain work, so customers like them and entrepreneurs like them too. I mean, check this out. The average person that attends a webinar will stay up to 22 minutes on average. Now that's a long time. Average person watching videos will never do that. And the cool thing about it is they will attend these webinars because it's really kind of a break for their day, and they can go learn something without really feeling guilty for kind of relaxing and enjoying something. Now you may have what's called an on-demand webinar. These work really well. People say that they like being able to click and almost instantly watch the webinar instead of having to wait a day or two. That is an option that you can put in the software. So you can say, hey, this webinar is available tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It's also available at 12 p.m. or if you want to watch the on-demand version, you can do that right now. Here's the other cool thing. You can market to more people instead of having a live session where it's going to be at lunchtime on Monday. Only a certain number of people can attend that, but if you have several different sessions and maybe an on-demand, you can reach thousands or tens of thousands or even millions of people. Now you want to make sure that you kind of sharpen your strategy and you know when the best time to do a live webinar is. Now the main difference between obviously an evergreen webinar and a live webinar is a live webinar is done one time and an evergreen webinar is recorded once and played over and over again, and it reaches a much larger audience. Who are these evergreen webinars good for? Well, they're good for companies or individuals who want to sell a product that really doesn't change that much over time, so they don't have to change the webinar. The other thing is you don't need to change your content constantly. you can just keep running that webinar because technology will take care of all the hard work for you. And if you're the type person who wants to sell your product on a passive basis, in other words in the middle of the night or early in the morning, and you don't even have to be involved, an evergreen webinar is perfect for you. How do you make sure that your webinar actually stays evergreen? That's the important thing, because you don't want to have to keep going back and redoing it. That's the whole point in having an evergreen webinar, that you don't have to constantly maintain it. How do you do that? Well, it's all in the creation of the actual webinar itself. You don't want to put anything in the webinar that's going to be time sensitive, because then it won't make sense to the viewer. Now, what type of products or services are good for webinars? Well, certainly a product or service that needs more education for the particular buyer. I sell some courses that are pretty detailed, and it's really hard to put all that information on a page and just sell it to them. I need to actually walk them through all the stages, show them what needs to be done, and show them how my course can actually fix their problems, and it's going to be beneficial for them. If you have to sell complex or really specialized products, webinars are great for this. I see a lot of software as a service products sold through webinars, because you can explain what that software does. Another good thing about webinars is you can present some case studies. So maybe there's some people who actually used your product or services and they got particular results. That is something you could actually show in your webinar to more and more people, and it makes them more likely to buy because of that social proof. So webinars that actually solve everyday problems are super important. I have a webinar that teaches people how to actually do Facebook ads and be successful at it without losing money. A lot of people who've done Facebook ads realize this is a real thing. Or maybe you know, my wife has dog training. Maybe it's 5 simple steps to getting your dog to obey you. Simple things in a webinar that can be explained with added information at the end that they can actually purchase or buy into. You can also come across as a more unique person. In regular ads it's kind of hard to do that, but in a webinar itself they can learn your personality, they can learn about what you're all about. You can give some of your backstory about your background and your journey, because your journey is really important. They have to understand that they're able to do it too. The biggest thing with people is that they don't feel that they can do something. They feel that you're special, that you're better than them, that you're more talented than them, and if they feel that way, they're never going to buy into your program because they feel like it wouldn't work for them. But in a webinar you can actually explain where you came from and where you are now and how you achieve these things and how you were worse off. I know when I first started selling online, I was selling cell phone cases and I lost tons of money and I didn't make any money on these products, and I ended up having to sell them all at a loss. But I learned along the way, and when I tell that story to people about how I lost money and how I couldn't type and how I was a single dad and I really didn't know what I was doing, and now we've sold millions of dollars worth of products, they go, wow, if he can do that, maybe I can do it too. And it makes them more likely to buy the products. With the advancement in technology, webinars are pretty easy to create now. I use EverWebinar for my webinars and it works great. It integrates with Kartra, and I'm going to give you some links below at the end of this video so you can click and actually look at some of that software and how it all works. But I can automate all these things, so I can set the times a day that it's going to go off. I can set it based on their time zone too, which is pretty cool. I can set it up so that they can have an on-demand webinar if they want to watch one like that. I can set it up to where it's convenient for them to watch, and that's the whole key to these evergreen webinars, is you got to make it convenient for them. Now, why do I like this? I mean, it makes sense, right? I can make money any time of day. I can make money at nighttime. I can make money in the morning when I'm traveling, when I'm eating dinner. Those webinars can be going off making me money 24/7 every single day of the week. That's pretty cool stuff. Now, something else they've noticed when they've looked at webinars is webinars actually boost the social sharing during and after the actual webinar, so more people can actually see your webinar because it was shared by people who actually attended it. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to do the best practices. Your webinar should be SEO'd properly so that people can find it. They can find that sign up page so that they can also attend. It's still very important that we do that. It's not a bad idea to have a unique hashtag so that people can share it around on social media. I use EverWebinar. I'll put something up on the screen here, you can see it, but here is their screenshot right here of their webinar. It says the business automation software of the year finally here. It is live, or is it EverWebinar? People can't really tell. That's the cool thing about it. It says click this video to learn more why use EverWebinar to automate your video marketing. Now, I personally really like EverWebinar. I use Webinar Jam also for live ones, but it's just such a good software. And I also use Kartra, and that will integrate well with EverWebinar. And keep in mind, it's also designed by the same people, so that helps a lot. Now the cool thing about EverWebinar, and it's a little deceptive, I will tell you this, but you can actually put in there how many attendees you want. So you can actually adjust the number of attendees if you want 50 or 100 or 200 to make it more like a live environment. In addition to that, if you aren't getting comments, you can actually pre-program comments in there or questions that people are asking you, and they'll have names on them. You can assign names from different countries, different nationalities, men, women, whatever you want, and those questions that pop up, you can actually answer them on your video. So you can make it a pretty cool environment if you want. It can seem pretty realistic. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a lot of the information you're going to need to run these evergreen webinars, and they'll make you money. I know, I've been doing them for years. I have friends that do them. There's a lot of money to this, and it's going to save you a lot of time and effort. Now if you haven't subscribed yet, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you to do that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right below there. If it's red, you got to click it, turn it gray, and as soon as you turn it gray, a bell will pop up, and you'll want to click on that bell and turn on all notifications. Got to do that, because if you do that, I can let you know every single time I do a new video. I also have a course below. It's a $97 course, but I'm giving it away absolutely free for a limited time, so make sure you click that. It's click and learn, no credit card required. Now if you've got questions about webinars, please put those comments below, those questions below. I'll be happy to answer those for you. In addition to that, maybe you've been running webinars, maybe you have a webinar software you like. Put those comments below. I will put a link in the description to EverWebinar so that you can check it out and you can use this incredible software. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.